Hi Joe, here at Willie Cottage. I do apologise I wasn't around last week. I've not been feeling very well, so if anybody wondering why I wasn't around, that's the reason. When you live with fibromyalgia, you have to remember to take time off for yourself and your mental health well-being. And we've had other things going on in the background at home as well. So it's been a busy sort of couple of weeks, sort of. Bit of decorating going on in the house as well. Nearly finished. I've only got that top corner to finish off painting, and then that will be done as well. So yeah, it's just been a bit hectic at home. So finally, I meant to post a video of me warping up this blasted loom, and I think while I was doing it, I hadn't taken the time out for myself, and it ended up being such a farce. I underestimated the thickness of the yarn that I'm using, which meant that I'm trying to think. Hi Emma. Yeah, I underestimated the thickness of my yarn, and I've only got 2 heddles with this vintage loom. So when I was warping it up, firstly, back to front, I did it on that side, on the back end of it, but I totally forgot to tie it all up. I forgot, and I did everything back to front and cack-handed, and the videos that I did, you could see that I was exhausted, hence I wasn't here last week. I just needed some time out, and I was ready for just say, do you know what, forget it, I'm not going to bother doing it anymore. So I left it alone for a week after telling her off. She will do as she's told. So I actually went back to it, I think last Wednesday, and I fed all the things through, and then I realised, that's when I realised, not last Wednesday, I realised at the beginning that I put it on back to front because I started threading them through the reeds at the back. And I got halfway through, I went, oh, it's back to front, I've not tied it on the back beam yet, have I? So I ended up having to undo it all. And then the way that I'd ended up warping it up and winding it up, for whatever reason, I ended up putting my helping hands on the front beam, pulling it through and doing it on the back, and then going back around the back and then threading it through all the reeds. So that was fine, got it all done, all tied off, finally got it sorted. And then I put the heddle on, which is really thin, and it's not a 10, it's a 12. I thought that this wool would be thin enough to go through, and it was in certain parts, but every time I pulled on the heddle, it was yanking. So what I've ended up having to do, because I've only got a 7.5 heddle, second one, so I had to think, oh, how am I going to fit these 250 flaming ends through this? So I've just done my pattern at the back as you would do, and then for each, I think so, each 3 strands of weave ends, I've threaded through 1 bar. So I'll just twist your arm so you can see, because honestly, it was one of the, you've all been there, and I think we probably are there every time we weave. There's always a mess, right? So each one of these, they are quite big gaps. So I've threaded 3 ends in through each one, which should, in hindsight, I know it will, because I've had to do something similar to for this before. But it just means I've ended up with a bigger warp, but I'll muddle through. I should still be able to do my pattern. If I don't, I'll go back to plan B and I will start all over again. And that's just the way it's going to have to be, because I'm not a professional weaver. I'm just a hobbyist, and that's it. You just have to put up with it, ladies. Sorry, you're not going to get perfection from me on this sort of thing anyway. I try my best. It's all about having a bit of fun at the end of the day. So I'm literally just starting off my weave now. I can't put you down anywhere. I've moved things around a little bit. I've put my dresser over there, and I'm back over in this corner, so I can just pull my loom out when I need it, because it takes up so much space. I've got nowhere to put it, and I can't put it upstairs in my studio because there's some things going on in the background at the moment. And I'll let you know what's happening in the next week, fingers crossed, in the next week, news and confirmation of stuff that's going on. So yeah, so I can't put it up the stairs in the spare bedroom because I need to put the double bed back up and makeshift things up there. So yeah, it's just like nothing goes to plan when you're trying to plan things, does it? So how are you doing, Emma? Oh dear. Right, so I actually want to go over this one, under this one. Oh crikey. Oh, I'm just gonna come in behind you. It's really not an attractive position on this. There we go, will that work? It should do. Yeah, I've got them down and I want these up. I need to move my lamp out the way. Iona, you have to move, love. I can't reach my header levers without moving. Oh, wedge my knees in. Right, so they're up. Oh, do you know, I missed that because I wasn't looking. You finally something or other. Do you know, it's so annoying that I cannot see messages for too long. And I don't get to see them. Hide all my messages, no. Oh dear. Yeah, I'll see the message afterwards once this is uploaded. Can't get to see it. I've just missed it then because I had to move. I do apologise. I am such a moron sometimes. Honest to goodness. Just need to tighten this off a little bit more. Oh God. Oh. Let me just pluck these. This yarn's going to be sticky. You dyed the yarn last night. Oh, great. Did you have fun? Was it messy? You dyed the yarn for doing a weave, or for doing something else. I'm just waiting for a stock order now to come for yarns, so I can get them dyed up for the end of the month, beginning of next month's shop drop, because I'm doing yarns again, which I haven't done for a while. And then eventually, once I build up my collection of Procyon dyes, I will actually potentially do some custom dyed warps and put them on my shop, which should be really, really good. Nice to have a play with that sort of thing. So Anne's not here yet. She's obviously up to mischief. Very messy. I'm just waiting for it to dry to warp up for your jacket. Yeah, well, as we say, we'll see if mine's a hit and a miss. That's what it's about though, isn't it, really? It's just about having a bit of fun. Bit of fun. I don't take myself too seriously. If I took myself too seriously, I'd have ended up in a mental institute years ago. But I'm just doing a tabby on mine. So for my shafts for a tabby, I bring up levers 1 and 2, which is on that side, and 3 and 4, which is on this side, if I remember right. Or is it 1, 2? No, it's not. I've done it back to front. Oh, there's 2. I need to stick my stickers on it. I need to put my stickers back on my heddles, because I took them off when I varnished it and sanded it down. Yeah, you're like me, wing it by the seat of your pants type of girl. That's what life's about. There's no point planning. There's no point planning. You never know what's going to happen. And then when you plan for things and it all goes a little bit peak-tonk, then you end up very disappointed. Oh dear. So what colours have you gone with? Have you gone for like a solid colour that you're going to amalgamate with other colours in between? Or have you gone for a bit of a hodgepodge? And are you using actual yarn? I'm asking all multiple questions now. As on a hand-spun yarn, blending and everything else, or have you been dyeing actual skeins of yarn? Yeah, yes, Sod's Law. Murphy's Law and Sod's Law are brothers in arms, aren't they? I can see this job getting a little bit sticky. And there's no reason for it to be loose in parts and tight in the others, because if I pulled it any tighter, I'd have snapped myself, let alone my threads. Right, so I need to go over my selvage next. And this will be the reason why. Looking dog. Oh, paint in the living room yesterday, and was doing over in that corner. And I'd painted the gas cupboard. This child down here, this furry child, decided that she wanted to stand next to her dad while he was sorting out his shelves and dusting down his, I'm not like to touch his shelves, dusting down his shelves. She smurfed. Her whole backside covered in this teal blue paint. So now she's got a fluorescent bottom, which is not always a good thing. Yeah, dog's got a fluorescent bum. So it's proper panic. It's like, oh no. Now, the first thing that flashed in my head was my eldest lad. When he was, how old would Kristen have been then? 3. I would not, me and my ex-husband, we bought a house and we hadn't long been in there. We'd only been in there about 2 weeks. So not everything was all put away yet. And years ago, I used to do a lot of drawing and paint and stuff like that. And Kristen, he was a menace. Spun up BFL Merino, you used espresso bean, tarragon, Pacific and salt marsh. So it's a purpley green. Oh, salt marsh, that landscape dyes. If it is, I love that one. It's really, really nice. The closest I can get to salt marsh, Dharma Dyes does a salt one, something. Oh, I can't remember now, it's gone out of my head. But I can never quite get the same type of very pale bluey green that I can get from the landscape dyes. I probably need to bring down my my dye a little bit more in my water. Oh, do you know, she's a nightmare, absolute nightmare. Iona, she's had sand fleas as well, which has been a blinking nightmare. So I had to order some. I don't use chemicals on my dogs or on my dog or my cats or my chickens and ducks outside. I use homeopathics, like herbal remedies for any type of treatment that you have. Like I've got this brilliant little bottle and it's a worming solution tonic, and I can use it on the cat, the dog, my ducks and chickens, which saves me an absolute fortune because our vets around here, they only let you buy prescriptions for birds. Oh, yeah, she got it from rolling around in the seaweed 4 weeks ago. Phil keeps getting bites. They don't touch me. So I've had to wash her in tea tree solution. Oh, I've had to buy a lavender tea tree and some other bits and pieces squirty bottle. It's nearly all gone. So the next bit is, because she won't, she's now, because she's a terrier, she's got terrier in her. She's got a bearded collie, terrier, and half a Springer Spaniel in her. So because of those two personalities, she becomes a little bit obsessive and a bit OCD. And when she starts doing something, she can't stop. So itching or licking, and she'll lick herself bald. So the next solution is a dry day outside, get the old hairdressing clippers and cut her down, is the next thing that I need to do. Costs more than a flaming child. Right, so I need to go over this one. 3, 4 in a second, so get rid of that. No, I want 1 and I want 2, but I want rid of 3. Apple cider vinegar, yeah, and garlic. I put garlic cloves in my bird's water dispensers, and it just gives the flavour, and it actually helps repress any fleas or anything that they could get, and it helps with the digestion and obviously their blood. And it's not like I'm ever going to have garlic chicken or garlic duck because the pets are not for eating. I'm saying that my chickens would give me no meat anyway. They're tiny. So yeah, it's just all a little bit, oh. So anyway, yes, Kristen, I was on about, I digress like Billy Connolly, I do. So Kristen, when he was about 3 or 4 years old, we just moved into the house, me and my ex-husband. And I woke up one morning, and Kristen could get into anything. He could climb at his cot by the time he was 9 months old. He was walking by the time he was 11 months old. He was a nightmare. He'd wake up in the early hours of the morning, and there he would be, 6 o'clock in the morning, waving to his granny his granny out the window because the family own a coach company, so she'd be taking everybody to Glasgow City on a business coach. And he'd wave to her at the window, and he'd wake up and he'd be there with all these little matchbox cars all lined up perfectly, not so much in colours but in size order, all on the window. From about a year to 18 months old, he started this thing. So he was very obsessive. A nightmare he was. Anyway, I've digressed again. So he'd managed to get into the spare bedroom at the time, and all that happened is I woke up to a very blue child, oil paints, artist oil paints, and I had a white bed set at the time, and I just remember him like nudging me, tapping the side of my face, and I'm like, oh, what is it? And I opened my eyes up, and it was one of those moments I couldn't look twice of it, top to toe smurfed. And he had to start play school at the new school the next day because we'd literally just moved from one part of Lanarkshire to the other side of Lanarkshire to a different little town. And I had to scrub him down with a soft Brillo pad and Ajax bathroom cleaner. And he went through, I mean, 50 shades of grey, 50 shades of blue. It took me 10 days to get him looking like a human being again. Honest to goodness, out of all three of them, but in the same morning, right, he'd been downstairs. So from going from the spare bedroom covered in paint, his toes, his feet, his bottom, his willy, everything, he trotted down the stairs over brand new Axminster carpets with little blue footprints all the way down the stairs, all through the hallway, into the living room. When I came down the stairs, there was, I don't know how he managed to get the lid off this bottle. I have no idea, because the safety cap on a petrol, you know, the oils that you use for filling up in your car. A bottle of that, 5 litres, poured in a big pool in the middle of my living room carpet. That carpet was ruined. I mean, what can you do? You can't really shout at them. But it was a matter of, oh my God, how am I going to clean that up? So I got as much as it could up, washing up liquid, 3 bottles of fairy liquid to try and get this oil out the carpet, and 90 quid for a brand new rug just to cover over the top of it. And I went on to have 2 more enema. You'd have thought I'd have learnt my lesson. I had 2 more after him. He jammed up a CD player with, remember years ago back in the 90s, you used to get these little vacuum discs that used to go inside your Hoover, where you put the bag. He used to put them inside the CD player and try and play them. I don't know. Anyway, sent to try me. I'm surprised I wasn't grey by the time I was 24 with him. As I say, I went on to have 2 others. So it mustn't have been that bad. Funny. It wasn't funny at the time. It was like completely stunned as to this. What has my child done to himself? I've got a mortgage. Do I look like I can afford to blinking jam toast in a video player? Oh, I never experienced that one. Never experienced that one. I think he realised that his video player was quite important, because he would get up in the morning and go and stick in his Fireman Sam into the video recorder when he was little. So I think he realised that was quite important. Maybe he was trying to tell his dad that he doesn't want to listen to Pink Floyd anymore, as to the vacuum disc being inside the CD player. I don't know. Kids. Who'd have them, eh? Oh. So. Oh. So next on my agenda is to finish this painting in here this week, and then start on the workshop upstairs, get it gutted. They're awesome. Well, Kristen's now 27. Yeah, because I'm 46, so he's 27. He's just turned 27 last month. And then after him, I've got our Quinn, who was always in A&E. I actually end up with a police and a social worker at my door once, because he'd been into hospital at the accident and emergency 3 times in the space of 6 weeks. Missed a bump. honest to goodness, he ran. He didn't walk. From the minute he could move, he was running. And he'd run everywhere in the house. He bust his ear open. I ended up having to put stitches in his earlobe when he was 5 years old for doing spinnies in the living room, like spinning around with your arms thingy. I was surprised he never fell through the window. So yeah, so Quinn was always a nightmare. Thankfully, I had a daughter after that, and she calmed down. Everything was. Some are real. Yeah, Quinn was absolute nightmare. He's the one that's got 2 kiddies of his own now. He's 22, is our Quinn, and he's just started up his own business. He's outdoorsy, always outdoorsy. Always played football since he was little. He's like a magpie with footballs. Every day he'd come back home with a new ball. You'd be like, where did you get that from? Or you'd hear the cupboard underneath the stairs get shut, and you're like, where'd you get the ball from? And he's like, what ball? If I go into that cupboard now, I bet there's another one of those 10 that are already in there. He's like, well, it was sat on its own, so I brought it home. So thankfully it wasn't pets, it was balls they brought home. It could have been a basketball, a netball, a golf ball, a football. So yeah, so Quinn. So yes, Quinn, my dear. Oh, bless him. Oh, right, so I need to go under this bit and then through that. Oh. And then over that one, no, under this one, and then over. Iona, stop licking. Dog sat behind me constantly licking. So what's everybody been up to? Did you all have a nice quiet weekend? I'm going to go and get my sewing needle in a minute and get this hemming done. And over there. Little witch has got chicken pox again. Oh, yeah, my kids all had chicken pox when they were younger. The boys only got it the once, but Charlie, my daughter, she ended up with it. I think she ended up off school for about 3 weeks and all. She just kept catching it all the time. I had chicken pox. It's the only thing I've ever had. I've never had measles or German measles or mumps or anything like that. I've only ever had chicken pox. And I caught that from Amanda Clark when I lived in Northern Ireland. It's her fault. My little best friend when I was 4 when we lived in Northern Ireland. Yeah, it's not nice. It is chamomile lotion. And my mum used to bath me in 2 capfuls of Dettol in a lukewarm bath. That's what my mum used to do, help bring the sting out. I keep forgetting Amanda on this one, aren't I? Yeah, Dettol. You know the old-fashioned Dettol? The antiseptic stuff, or disinfectant one. That's what Mum always put in the bath for us when we were poorly like that. Helps calm down the itch. Iona, please go lie down. All I can hear is this dog scratching at the back of me. Well, I'm getting there. I'm just starting this off now. And it's very loose. It's going to be a very open, make herbal tea concoction for the bath. Do you? Well, something like a lavender and chamomile flowers. Chamomile flowers. It's the wrong time of year. Tell her it's the wrong time of the year to be catching chicken pox because there's no flowers outside for you to create herbal remedies. Wrong time of year. Right, so over, I'm doing this one, 3 and 4 again, another tabby, and then I'm going to go get my sewing needle and get this edge sewn and hemmed before I go any further. Essential oils and chamomile tea. Yeah, I do swear by homeopathic remedies. That's how I deal with my fibromyalgia, is herbal remedies. Just having a healthy diet and a lot of remedies that help cleanse my insides as well. Fennel's really good for that sort of thing. I haven't gone as far to touching turmeric tea yet. I'm not convinced with that, but that's supposed to help with inflammation and pain. But that's the thing with what I've got. It's not really inflammation. It's messages from your brain. They go into hyperdrive when somebody's just done that to your skin. It's like, ow, what did you punch me for? And you're like, I just poked you. So, yeah. So it's trying to find, it's constant research for me when it comes to that sort of thing. But I do generally just have a healthy diet, and I know what things actually flare me up and aggravate me. But I definitely, for my animals, for Phil, I've even got Phil now taking... though to get him to take some multivitamins, I've had to go and get him teddy bear jellies. Says he's not taking tablets. Yeah, I've done it. I've done a cotton top. It was like an Afghan top, and I dyed that with it. It ended up, after a few washes, ended up with like a fluorescent yellow on the turmeric. Tried saffron. Saffron's nice. And you can actually use rose petals. I've seen a video of somebody doing it, and I always keep meaning to do it, but I don't have roses. So I'd have to go and buy a bunch of roses. But yeah, red roses, you can actually create a dye stock solution out of the red petals, which is brilliant. Right over. So what am I going? Back to 1 and 2. And under. Dear me. So what's on the plans for this week? Oh, I've just dyed up the wool for my batty club, so I've got them done today, finally. We've not been having, the weather's been absolutely so weird. I'm getting no heat out of my fire at all, but it's too damp and cold outside to get washing out on the washing line. And 3 and 4. Over. Leaves will work too. There's a natural dyeing book I want that goes into the science, so it was £95. I've got Jenny Dean's book, and for me, I think that's more than enough for what I need. And doesn't so much go into the science of it all, but she has more explanations as to creating your mordants and a bit more on the measurements and stuff like that. The Jenny Dean thingy book, or I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's up there in my studio. I'll go grab it in a minute. But she's selling it at a museum at the moment. If you go onto Jenny Dean's Instagram page, she's mentioned it a couple of times over the last couple of weeks. Sweet Pea Yarn's got them. Who else? Oh, I can't think. But she's only charging something like 16, 17 quid for it. And it's a ring folder book, and it's really, really interesting. I need to sit down and properly read it. Ditchfield Museum. Yeah, my memory is a nightmare. Even to remember a name, it takes me 3 or 4 attempts. Oh, to try, like, to meetings of somebody before I actually remember, put the name to a face. Never forget a face. Never forget a face. Names I'm a nightmare with. why. 1, 2, 3. Put that in there. Don't you just hate it when you've got one strand that never wants to go where it's supposed to go? And then you miss it for about 3 or 4 rows, which is no flaming good when you're doing this. Right. Under and over. I'm using some of the linen that I spun this with from a Slevage ends to help make it a bit tidier. Oh, and I'll decide where to go with that one, to go over this one. So what you're going to be weaving on, Emma, a rigid heddle loom, linen. No, actually I cheated. I've never spun. I have got loads of it upstairs and I do need to do it one day. Hence I actually bought an antiques flax spinner, which I can't get working because it's a double drive band and I just can't get the tension right on it. And that's a flax spinner. But no, I haven't tried, and that's something I want to experiment with in the summer. And I'll probably do it as a video when I'm doing videoing. But no, this is a already done cone. I get my cones of linen from Airedale Yarn. They currently are open, the website is open, but they're currently moving buildings again this year. And I've got loads of it. I've got this sky blue one. I like using it for plying. When I'm applying with a hand spun, it gives me a really lovely look and it holds its structure so well. I mean, it is seriously strong stuff. You can't snap it with your hands. And I just like the consistency that I get with my hand spun yarns when I apply it up with this, and I end up with a nice I would say that's probably a sports weight thickness on my wool when I'm spinning with it. Where has it gone? I mean, it's got texture in it. On a sec. Yeah, an old Weave Master loom like what I've got, but it's only a 12-inch, so you're going to have to sew a few strips together. Yeah, exactly, and that's what I was thinking. I'm hoping that because I've had to warp this the way I have and it's ended up wider than I actually need, which means that my weave's going to be a lot more open, which won't be a problem because really end of the day I want my jacket to be more summery than I do, or to use as a cardigan in and about the house. I don't want anything really heavy. So I'm quite happy the way that this is going at the moment. I don't mind the open weave. I'll turn you around a bit so you can see. Oh, can you see that? So it's ended up a lot more of an open weave than I was expecting. But as we say, you wing it. Your brain starts to think, right, okay, I can adapt to that. Iona. Oh, yeah, you start to think, right, I can adapt to that. I can figure out how I can make it work. So I've got a lot more open weave. It's going to be a bit more drapey. Perfect. Because I say I don't want anything that's going to be really, really heavy. What did I do with those? Iona, please stop it. So yeah, go with the flow. Literally, don't take yourself too seriously is my thought. You get so many people on those weaving pages that are like, oh, sets this and warps pringe this and do this. And I'm like, do you know what? For a beginner weaver, that's quite intimidating, trying to retain all that information. So I always say, no, just get your basic principles and your basic rules of what it is that you need to do, and then build from that. And it'll all come as time comes, depending on whether you're a natural or not. So yeah, so I've ended up with this. That is my hand spun plied with that linen. So it's a little bit lumpy and bumpy. It is generally I would say I've probably got a sports weight on that. Not quite a fingering, but it's definitely not a double knit width neither. But in some parts, it's thicker. So it's just a matter of adjusting with what you've got, really. Because, I mean, as I say, you can't get everything right all the time. And it is hand spun yarn at the end of the day. It is hand spun, plied with a manufactured linen. I just love the colour of it, that bronzy colour with the little splashes of blue that are going to come through. And it's going to have a very lovely, I hope, tweedy sort of look about it. Warm, but sort of, but it'll have that lightness around it. So I'm quite looking forward to doing this. But as I was saying, you're on about that you would have to maybe add some strips together. And I was thinking about this the other week there when I put this warp on, and I sat there and I thought about the length of wastage I'm going to have to use. And when I was looking at the pattern, what I was seeing as the collars, the lapels on my jacket, is actually the flaming arms. So I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? So I've been playing with the ideas, and I've got a backup plan if it all goes Pete Tong. I do have quite a heavyweight denim that I can sort of use to improvise if need be. And then maybe if I've got offcuts left from the weave fabric, then I can maybe use them as edgings on a denim collar. And then if I can't get the sleeves quite long enough, I thought I'll just put some denim cuffs on and have them flip back so it looks like, when I wear a shirt I always flip my sleeves back. So that was like, in my brain I'm trying to already subconsciously think of alternatives if I completely and utterly cocked up my length. But now looking at how this is weaving, yeah, well, that's what I thought. I mean, it's all about adapting, isn't it? I've never been one for looking like everybody else. And I still like my 90s shirt and a collar, and my trims hanging down over my mischievous belly. So yeah, it's just like, I'm just one of those people, and I've always been like this. I'll plan with something, but in back of my head I've got a backup plan. Same when I was married. Always had a backup plan if everything went Pete Tong, which it did in the end after 10 years. But my backup plan had been in there since I was 18 years old. It's just how I'm made up. It's just how I am. So I've always automatically, my brain's like, oh, I'll do this and I'll do that and I'll achieve that. But just in case, have you got your go bag ready, Joe? So yeah. Fly by the seat of your pants, Emma. What can I say? I wish my kids had been more like me that way. Oh, dear me. Oh, my camera's keep tilting down. Ooh, you just read my palm then. What else? I think that's about it. I've got things going on at the moment that I really want to talk to everybody about or discuss, but I want to just make sure that everything's going and happening before I say to anybody. And it was about a conversation I had a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, so I just want to make sure things are going to work and actually happen. Oh, do you know what makes me, this open weave makes me think of a basket. I keep looking at it, I'm thinking it looks like a wicker basket. I'm really quite impressed with it. It looks really, really nice. I haven't even done the pattern on it yet. And now looking at the pattern, I don't know how much it will show through. Yeah, it's more exciting on a personal level. It's a journey that I'm hoping will work out, and I'll be able to sort of mention it a little bit more. It's a personal thing, but yeah, and it's about a conversation I had on my Instagram live a couple of weeks ago about what's going on over in the Ukraine. So yeah, there's things in the works, and I don't want to say anything, I don't want to jinx anything until everything is been sorted. But yes, watch this space. Yeah, me being a girl guide and a humanitarian. Shall we go? Just going to go and grab a sewing needle. I need a needle that's not going to take my finger out. dear. Oh, look what came the other day. I got Les Smith to make me a very small inkle shuttle, smallest he could get it, to go for my my inklet. Where? Ah, there we go. This one will have to do. This sewing needle. He's a big bruiser. Oh, yeah. So he did this one for me, for my little inklet loom. So I need to get that finished off, because if this works out the way it's supposed to work out, I wanted to use my inklet to create some bands, pocket edges, or something like that. I was thinking of something else. Like, Jo, you're just making your life so much harder. Why don't you just do things simple? Make more work for myself. I'm just going to sew up my do my hemming. And then I can get my warping sticks out of the way. Because I always stick... I went for the inklet. And in hindsight, for an extra couple of quid from Adelaide Walker, I could have got an inkle. And I wish I'd gone for the larger size. The little one's great. Brilliant little thing, like if you want to go sit out in the garden or whatever. But I should have gone for the bigger size that they had. But with that in mind, I am going to, at some point in the next few months, build myself a floor inkle loom, which shouldn't be too hard to do. I will give it a good go, but that's what my thing is. I want to be able to do them big long bands and lengths, so like a couple of yards at a time, and then I can sell them if I ever do craft fairs or stuff like that. So that's my idea. And then if I do actually manage to pull off this natural dyeing, then I want to have yarns that are already all done in natural dyes, so I can sell them to the reenactors on my website. So that's what I want to do. Wanting and doing are two different things. Iona, can you please stop licking? Dog snorts at me. You don't need kids when you've got a dog that answers your back. Stop it. Yeah, you want to make straps for bags, definitely go for the larger one. The little inklet loom that I showed when I was on my Instagram live the other week there, where is it? I think it's in the studio. It's great for doing like ribbons and shoelaces, but you're only getting about, I would say it's maybe about a yard length off of one, which is all fine and well. But if you've got a specific pattern that you've made or created yourself or following, then it's making sure that you've got the right amount of threads to do it again, especially for strap handles, because some of them could be quite long that you need as well. Stop it, just go lie down and get a drink. Dog, go get a drink. But yeah, my advice, go for the next size up. It's not much more expensive than getting the inklet. Definitely. Trying to think who actually sells them now. I got mine from Adelaide Walker. Weft Blown does them, and the Thresh, I'm absolutely positive the girls at the Threshing Barn sell them, but you'd have to go and have a look on their website for that. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I want to go in there and around here. Oh God. You never quite get me tension right. Over here, no, 1, 4. Trying to keep my numbers right as well at the same time as trying to hem this up. And it's gone really tight. And I want to go in there and then, oh, under there. What time are we on? 45 minutes. So I think I shall let you go off and get on with your day. I need to go and sort my birds out. I always have to go and sort my birds out. Honest God, you guys must be sick and tired of me. I always say I have to go and sort my birds out. And I need to finish off painting. I need to get the paintbrush out in a little while. Once I've done this hemming, let that stupid dog out, because she drives me potty. Yes, you. So yeah, thank you very much, Emma. You take care of yourself, and I'll maybe see you Saturday over on my Instagram. Thank you. Bye, love.